Greetings! I now and then get this question in my YouTube comments about which gear people should use if they are starting playing or whatever level they are. They are interested in knowing what gear and how to run perks and such on classes. So I thought I would talk about that today. So I can start with the Librarian, and we can take the basics first. My go-tos are Shockwave or Chain Lightning. These are the two I will select a cooldown on. Shockwave to keep enemies off you, Chain Lightning to be a more offensive. So I switch between those two. I like to run Shockwave and power, not Power Fist, but Lightning Claws. That's a good combo. And Lightning is good for especially the hybrid gunners, those that does a very high critical. Lightning will usually one-shot them in a mass grouping as well. So Chain Lightning for Librarian. On all classes you should select acid damage reduction by 50%. This is the acid spit, green, from both white and black warriors, Tyrannid warriors. So this is the most valuable thing in the game. It will also protect you against those suicide exploders. So acid damage by 50, and as well on all classes you should run armor bonus by 20. Melee and range bonus, it's barely noticeable in my opinion. It's not valuable enough versus armor bonus, so go for armor on all classes. Weapons for Librarian, I prefer bolters or redemption or lightning claw. I will pair up bolters with either sword or axe. Most of the time axe, because the axe has 66% ability cooldown, 40% or 44% on the sword, which means your abilities will be ready 66% faster than without them, without the axe. So it's very valuable. Redemption is a good fit. Then I would combine it with Power Fist, but all the cooldowns will be much lower, so I don't recommend to run it that way, but it's good fun. Perks, Resilient, that is a perk I will choose on all classes for survivability. If you want to play around, I could recommend Warp Disruptions, which is good fun, or Battle Psyker, which ups the damage on your force weaponry. For sword, force axe, 30% damage boost. It's not very noticeable, but you will experience some difference. But Resilient is my go-to. It's the best one to do solo runs on No Mercy difficulty and in squads if you are new. Especially if you are new, Resilient is probably a lifesaver for you. All classes should use Resilient. Heavy weapon speciality, as with the last class, but here you will choose Firestorm 20%. That is the skill that makes your gun shoot way quicker. And not regularly, but if you play heavy weapon speciality, you're usually in the front, so being able to deal much damage as often as possible is kind of crucial for things to run smoothly. So Firestorm by 20% cooldown. Other than that, acid and armor. Weapons on heavy, I prefer assault cannon or vengeance. Plasma cannon is OP as fuck, but it is also the known team killer because of its AoE, because plenty of people in the community run it with this shit here, which will increase the explosion radius by 50%, it looks. Almost. And with friendly fire on, that's half your life in one shot, basically, a teammate's. Or your own if you're too close of the plasma blast, because of the area of effect per plasma charge. So if you run plasma cannon, please run speed boost, which cuts AoE by half. I only use this in single player almost. Just a few challenge runs with buddies, I run it. Otherwise, stay away from this gun. It's good, powerful, OP, but a team killer. Assault cannon, optics, that is up to you. It's individual what you like to see when you aim. But assault cannon is the only weapon I probably use precision barrel on, because if you use firepower, your target cone will basically be as big as a wall. Maybe good for big hordes, because the shots will hit everywhere. But precision barrel will focus your damage and overall be the best choice to use, in my opinion, on assault cannon. This bayonets doesn't do shit, it's just cosmetic. Same with emblems, but you will want to pair this up with a reliability module as soon as quickly as possible, and a high capacity magazine for 600 rounds, because this one spews lead. Vengeance, I tried the precision barrel on this gun, it doesn't make a difference. If I just go firepower when you're first using this weapon, it will jump like hell, but it hits like a truck. Or trucks. It's my go-to. Reliability and high cap. Spear of Caliban. You would want firepower, reliability, fast charging cell for getting rounds ready quicker. Speed boost, do not use power boost because of the AoE again. You will probably hit teammates more often if you choose larger AoE. Perks on heavy weapon speciality, resilient as I mentioned before. But if you want to experiment, I would recommend War Machine. Really quick reloads, and this will work on plasma weaponry as well, making you being able to fire more often, more quickly. DPS goes up. Assault Cannon Specialist, also a good one, doing lots of more damage to Broodlords with Vengeance Cannon and the Assault Cannon. So it's either Assault Cannon Specialist, War Machine or Resilient. I prefer Resilient. Staying alive is more crucial than doing a little more damage. What else? Nah, I think we're good. Power Fists. I leave my Power Fist stock. No speed boost. If you add speed boost, you will be able to stagger enemies more quickly, but you will need to hit them a few times more to kill them. So I like the stock version, which is a good balance between damage and quick stagger rate. Damage boost, it takes too long time for the whole cycle, the animation cycle, to complete. So you won't be able to block as quickly after hitting. If you're adding speed to this, you will be able to block more quickly, which ups your defensive properties, but you will then again need to hit more often, so I found a good balance just to run it stock. That was the heavy weapon. Assault class, perk resilient, or if you want to try something else, zealot. This perk will make you being able to hit through what's it called? Blocks. Being able to hit through enemy blocking. They can't block you. Broodlords can block you, but every enemy up to warrior class can't block your hits, which is not bad at all. But you will become more squishy, so I run resilient. And my go-to weapons are Purgatory Sword with speed boost and Ultimate Adornment, which ups the damage through the roof. Same with armor perforation. Being able to hit fast and recover quickly makes you able to block more quickly or after hitting. And this sword does a tons of damage anyways. Sometimes you will 2-hit Broodlords, so there's no need to run it without a speed boost or with damage just to waste. You will want to be able to block more quickly after hitting. In my opinion, it's the more valuable energy switch to use on your melee weapon. Hammer does a ton of area of effect damage. I wouldn't recommend to use this on friendly fire matches. If you use these weapons, Mace of Absolution or Thunderhammer, please keep away from the squad, like 10-15 meters or so that you don't accidentally kill your teammates on friendly fire matches. Just keep that in mind. And all lightning claws I run with speed switch, speed boost, power field for more armor perforation, color doesn't matter, and reach. The speed is because being able to stagger enemies while you are hitting them quickly just keep them off you more easier. I've seen people run damage boost on this, but as I mentioned with the shield, it becomes too slow to block after you hit, so you have to time the hits to hit the enemy every time, and I'm pretty sure that can't be done. Being able to hit an enemy and then instantly block afterwards will save your life more often than a damage boost, so speed boost. Perks, we did perks on this class, okay. Frenzy, being able to hit enemies with higher crits, I believe it is, and they can't block you, almost as the same way as Zealot perk works, just that this ability is only active for like 4 or 5 seconds, I think. But Frenzy is the one I used. Energy Field can be useful if you are plagued against hybrid gunners. This shield will shield you better for quite some time. I think it's 5 or 6 seconds there as well, so it's not long. Frenzy is my go-to. As with every other class, acid damage and armor. Apothecary perks, I go resilient, but if you want to wander around and try out other stuff, I would recommend Mantle of the Redeemed. This boosts the redemptions, armor perforation. I don't know by how many percent, but more than the damage apparently by this graph. And it's quite useful against Broodlords, especially if you're playing solo. But then again, this weapon is quite good without the armor perforation as well, so I don't know. Resilient seems to be the overall best perk for any class to use, in my opinion. But if you want to play around Mantle of the Redeemed or Blessed Blood will always heal your without you having to use your abilities to heal yourself. It's slow, and you won't take as high critical damage as you would without Resilient on. Stalkers will much more likely kill you even if you block, versus using Resilient. That is my experience, so I run Resilient on all classes. It's been such a lifesaver for me, especially when I join session I don't host myself, where you introduced ping. If you have like 100 ping many times, damage, you can take damage from things that you shouldn't have taken damage from your perspective, but from his end, Tyrannid was closer to you. Having Resilient, more HP per limb, arms, feet, torso and head, all individual, is more valuable to have. But that's just my opinion. I run Resilient on all classes. Weapons, the Hellfire. I see very many new players use this weapon because it's very good at crowd control. You're able to take out so many enemies for each shot. Problem is that you can't see past your shots. Every explosion in front of you is you blind. Suddenly a stalker comes jumping at you, you have no idea. You just suddenly be in critical hit and dead because you didn't even see the enemy. That's the big negative with Hellfire, but it is very good for crowd control, and if you know how to use it, if you spam it all the time in front so that the rest of the team can't see shit, you're not using it correctly. The right way of doing this is focusing targets far away, and in narrow corridors that can be a problem. So only in open field use, like in the beginning of chapter 4, chapter 8, chapter 3 to some degree, but mostly there is narrow corridor, so that's not right. Chapter 5, and I will deck it out with damage, firepower, reliability module, high capacity magazine. But this is not my go-to weapon. My go-to weapon for Apothecary is Redemption. And the Redemption is firepower, reliability and high cap mag. These doesn't really matter, it's what you prefer. I like the IR sight, infrared, black white and times 1.5 zoom. I would run it without the zoom if the gun didn't look, I don't know, corny. It looks more proportionally right when you have this add-on sight to the gun. Anyways, you would not want to run Power Fist when you are Apothecary. Not with a team that you don't have synced up with well in the past, because that will delay your ability to being able to heal teammates. I think the cooldown with Power Fist is like 180 seconds on all abilities, both singular heal, yourself heal and team heal. So you would want to use the Nartesium, the drill that is the drill, Nartesium. I think it's Nartesium, it's called. Anyways, Perks, we done weapon. Bolters should be damage, reliability and high cap magazine. All the other fluff, like emblems, color and bayonet, it's all cosmetics, so it's care phase. Tactical, I would, as a beginner, I would probably use reinforcement. Being able to revive a teammate more quickly is probably more useful to a beginner than using protector. Protector is that shield bubble you can throw on friendlies. It will work as the same way as the assault class shield. It will protect against the enemy fire somewhat, not entirely, but somewhat, for about 5 or 6 seconds. So I like being able to spam that one to the front man in your squad, who usually takes most of the fire. And again, acid damage negation by 50 and armor. Here, I sometimes do use strategist, which increase armor perforation of both your bolter and power fist attack speed, which is quite good. It's good fun, being able to do more damage with the bolter, especially if you pair it up with this one. It's not as accurate as Storm Bolter, but the DPS is better, even though the damage is a bit less. So you see, it's a little slower, but the fire rate is much higher on the Storm Bolter MK2. So this weapon, together with Strategist perk and this lovely piece, is a very good fit. Good fun. You become a bit more squishy when you don't run resilient, but it's a good side perk to use. Some use the Skull Bolter with missiles. Not my thing. Eternal Warrior doesn't seem to work as it should be, especially on no mercy difficulty. Burning Absolution, which increases the Spear of Caliban armor perforation. It's good when you host yourself. I will not say good, but it works. But when you're joining other games, when you are having like 50, 60 or even 80 ms ping delay, it doesn't seem to matter. That's a problem with the Spear of Caliban overall, is that the damage doesn't seem to reach the enemy. It will hit them, but many times it won't register. So this is a mixed bag of fun, to say it that way. The Spear of Caliban is firepower, fast charging cell and speed boost. I think I said that under the heavy assault class, heavy specialty class as well. But I didn't mention that the charges basically dusting off the enemy sometimes, which can be annoying. But it's good against especially the black Tyranids. It melts them when they focus up in large hordes and are very gathered. Just opening fire with this one will basically melt them. But again, much damage with dust off. You will see that, especially against Broodlords. It seems that it does very much damage, but it really does not, compared to other weapons. The perks, we did the perks. Then the Interrogator's Chaplain. I forgot, did I mention in the start that the 4 first armors does give you melee damage boosts by 5% on the first, 10, 15 and 20 on the 4th armor. So that's a free melee damage boost. Weapons, we talked about all these weapons, but not the cross-use. This weapon is very good when you add damage boost and the perk Redeemer, which increases the attack speed by 30 and armor perforation. It's quite good. You become more squishy, but it's a very good melee weapon to have paired up with either Stormbolter or Stormbolter MK2. Sadly, you cannot pair it up with Redemption. I don't know why the developers didn't make that possible, but it is not. Only bolters, but that's okay. I run Resilient on this one as well. You could run Leader, which will extend Litany by 5 seconds, and then you will have an gathered amount of 15 seconds of immortality for the whole team, which can be valuable, but again, Resilient overall becomes more important in the long run, in my opinion. Other perks on this class? No. It's either Resilient or Redeemer for me. Being able to sprint more? Nah, I don't find it useful. And that was about it, I believe. I might do another video on how to position yourself when you are playing the game. Smallest things like positioning, what your job is when you are taking rear guard or front guard, but I think most people get this automatically when they play with other people that have played the game for such a long time. I can just mention a few important ones. If you are leading the squad, stay to the left side so the brother behind can shoot past you. I can go into special missions to make it more practical to see. For example, if this tech priest is my brother in front, he will take the left side. I will go behind him a bit to the right side so I can shoot past him. That's crucial to being able to deliver high amounts of lead down the range so that the enemies go down quicker. If you just walking in a narrow corridor in the middle, the brother behind will go like this and try to shoot past you, and it's annoying as fuck. So keep to the left side if you are leading a squad. That makes sure that the brothers behind can see just past you and shoot past you. If you play Chaplain, your ability is not to keep you alive, mainly, is to keep the team alive. So you spam the ability, not spam, but use the abilities against, for example, broodlords or enormous hordes. When you see the whole team are beginning to take damage, activate Litany, the second ability on Chaplain, for example, so that the whole team becomes immortal for 10 seconds without the Litany extension, which will make it 15 seconds. Other things. If you lead a squad, I don't expect you to know where every relic is in the beginning, but the team leader should guide the rest of the squad between relics so that you can pick up those free XP boosts, basically. It's 500 XP per piece, and some maps have 5 to 6, maybe. I think 6 is the maximum of relics per chapter, while some chapters only have 4 or 3. I don't remember in a moment. But at least it's free XP, and you will level quicker when you take those relics. It will add some time to to your session run, but overall, if you follow routes that you have learned from higher levels, it doesn't take much more time because they know the routes to go and they have a constant pace. That's also maybe worth mentioning. Don't stop up too long in one area and hold down an enemy. If you are getting overwhelmed and need to stop just to kill them off, that's okay. That shit happens, but you should always keep a constant pace. In my opinion, that's what I like to do. Always be on the move and not stand still for too long. Suddenly a stalker, a warrior, or whatever jumps on your side, your back. So if you're standing in a fight, always be on the move, sidestepping. Sometimes you will see a warrior stand up and almost stop in front of you, maybe so far ahead, and he kind of stretches out his legs and arms and then spits. When you see that animation, just sidestep, because that shithead is about to spit on you. And spits on no mercy, plasma spit or acid spit. If you take that to the head with a critical, you're dead. So walk to the side, and even better, block as well when you're going to the side. For maybe that acid spit or plasma spit will hit your arm instead of your head. Also, if you hear stalker behind you, the hissing of a stalker, it's hard to explain, but the stalker have a distinctive sound. Instantly turn block, block turn, that can save your life, and that kind of a block will stagger, the stalker. It will also stagger warriors and the cannon fodder tyranids. So a last moment block will stagger, better than if you're always going around with a block up. And if you are fighting a broodlord, the largest tyranids, you have to keep in mind where his hits are coming from. Are the claws coming from top down, side, both sides? You need to angle your block to stop it, or hopefully negate that block. Most likely you will have an orange arm after a broodlord attack, but it's crucial that you angle your block against the attack he does. It's quite quick, so it's not telegraphed very well on the broodlords, but you will learn its patterns after a while. Like the slow broodlord, it usually have a slow overhead chop, or side to side with each claw, so that one is easy to block. People usually just grind, or not grind, but walk around the broodlord, because it's so slow. You can confuse it basically and just walk around the broodlord while the rest of the team shoots, and you just walk around with block, opening it up to fire from the rest of your team. The broodlord, which it's called the broodlord, the high mind maybe, that one is far difficult to read. It's hitting so quickly, it moves incredibly fast, but it also have an overhead slash down and a slash to side from both sides simultaneously at the same time, for fuck's sake. So that can be hard to block, but the upside down slash can be blocked by pointing upwards and block. The side ones, I don't know, 50-50 if you're alive after that hit, kind of a hit. The psychic blast he has, the psychic attack, to avoid that, always be on the move. Also, you will see the broodlord telegraph what he is about to do. He will stop up on the ground, he will shout and raise his arms up in the air, and that's when he's about to use a psychic attack. Just move to the sides, forward, backwards, it doesn't matter. It usually misses you. If you stand still, you're dead, pretty much. So that's worth mentioning, actually. yeah, I might do a video where I'm showing off more in the game, how to sidestep, how to block, how to do all these things. But I will stop here now before the video becomes too long to bother to watch. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please subscribe! Nah, just joking. Your reviews are good enough. Yeah, bye then.